Being a champion yourself is one thing, but being able to teach multiple people how to be champions, that is special. I decided that I wanted to have my own construction company, and I moved to California, and I went to work for a stair company. Really had the goal that within 3 years I would own that company. That happened. But I was managing the zoo. I wasn't actually doing what I really enjoyed. Smiles are just as important as profits.
How do you see AI impacting the real estate?
You have to be passionate about the work, the actual work it's going to take, so that when you're doing that work for zero, you're okay with it because you love the work.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Simple Tech Talk, where we dive into the innovative world of AI and its impact on various industries. I'm your host, Johnny Palumbo, and today we're excited to have George Knowlton, a seasoned expert in real estate and construction technology. George is the CEO of Smile Company and Square Up Construction, where he leads innovative real estate acquisition and design build projects. With a quarter century of experience, George has been instrumental in integrating cutting-edge technology into asset management and project execution. George, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate that great introduction.
It's great to have you on the show today. How are you doing today?
It's been a beautiful day. I started work nice and early. I got to watch the moon rise and the sunrise about 45 minutes apart from each other, which is a nice treat for a Friday.
Sounds like an incredible start to your day. George, starting off the podcast, would you mind telling us a bit about your background and how you got into the real estate and construction industry? Starting back with childhood stories, anything that gives the ring of entrepreneurship.
Sure. Thanks, Johnny. I appreciate that question. I started my entrepreneurship as a young child selling Christmas cards. Actually, I went to work with my dad. I guess I should start that my dad was an entrepreneur, an operator of gas stations and that, and I went to work with him as a young child. And then as an adolescent, the first opportunity I had to be an entrepreneur was through selling Christmas cards, which I happened to be very successful at. I had a lot of fun doing. And that kind of transferred into being a newspaper delivery person in my teen years, which was, again, another entrepreneurship. And it was much like Christmas cards. So I used my sales techniques, the same things, and sold a lot of subscriptions. I learned that the more papers I delivered, the more money I made. And so, I went from one route to 3 routes and made some technological advances to my bicycle so that I wouldn't have to go back and forth to pick up papers in between, which saved me a ton of time and allowed me to do the same number of papers in the morning that many of the guys who were driving automobiles did, which was fantastic. From there, I really got into construction. I finished high school. While in high school, I again, another lead from my father. My father had transferred from operating gas stations into operating and being a broker of real estate agencies and training real estate agents. And I really glommed onto that. I really enjoyed looking at the properties and all the different facets that went into real estate. One of the projects that he had was selling a restaurant. In order to sell it, he had to make it profitable. And so he started managing it at night to try and change it and make it better and make it profitable, which he did. And being that I wanted to hang out with him, I was there and learned. And so by, the ripe old age of 14, I started managing a restaurant and did that for the next few years until I got into construction. And at that time, I did both things. I graduated high school and I started doing construction during the day, and then I trained franchisees at El Pollo Loco in the evening time, which was a very cool thing. I took something that I really knew how to do at night, and I was teaching adults that were entrepreneurs and CEOs themselves of companies. And then during the day, I was learning something from somebody that I didn't know, skills that I didn't know, and growing skills, which was great. From there, I decided that I wanted to have my own construction company, and I moved to California, and I went to work for a stair company. And, I really had the goal that within 3 years, I would own that company. And, man, it's exciting to say that happened. Like, didn't happen the way I anticipated it would happen, but it happened. And it was fantastic. And we had a great run after that. My new partner and I, we had 5 years of exclusive work with Centex Homes, the largest home-to-home developer at the time. And so I really got to use my entrepreneurship and in that business to grow technologically and to grow as far as being a project manager. Because Centex was on the leading edge at that time. They were the only publicly traded company, construction company, and they had created land banks and they had done a number of different things that a lot of companies hadn't done before. And I was able to witness all of that and be on the very cutting edge of it, which was fantastic for me.
Thank you for sharing your entrepreneurial journey through your youth, George. It's clear you've had a passion for business and innovation from a young age. Building on that foundation, I'm curious, what inspired you to start Smile Company and Square Up Construction? And what's been your mission with these companies?
That's another great question. Well, I found myself working in the construction, and I don't know if you've heard the term, but I was managing the zoo. I wasn't actually doing what I really enjoyed. I was, being a glorified adult babysitter, and that really wasn't my joy. So Square Up, Smile Company, and Square Up Construction are a culmination of my passion. So coaching has been my passion my entire life. Been coaching since I was 10 years old on a consistent basis. And so a lot of times I'd make money and then I would go and give it away in forms of free coaching or volunteering my time or doing missions trips or different things of that nature. And so Smile Company, which is an acronym for safe, moral, inclusive, linguistic, and experiential, Smile Company was a culmination of trying to bring together the things that I'm passionate about and that I give away and bring together the monetization of all the things that I've learned through my life so that they can work together in harmony so that I can create a revenue and give away revenue at the same time in a circular fashion.
George, that'll be really inspirational for a lot of our listeners to hear alongside myself. Would you mind sharing a little bit more about how you use Smile to give back and how giving back has really fueled your career?
Well, when you give back, you're able to really hone in on what you're passionate about because you don't typically give back in ways that you're not successful at, and you don't give back in ways that you don't enjoy. And so, therein you find your passion, and many times therein you find your real true skill set. And through volunteering and leadership is really where I found that I was a good leader, that I was a good coach, that I was actually what you would call a champion, right? I mean, there's a champion mindset and there isn't. And once you recognize that you have it and then you can give it away, that is something that is like, making somebody else a champion is, wow. I mean, that is the peak of anything. Being a champion yourself is one thing, but being able to regurgitate that and teach multiple people how to be champions, that is special. That's what I aspire to. I've had some success, not as much as some of my mentors like John Wooden and some of those other coaches, but therein lies Smile Company, right? And that's why I created Smile Company, so that I could create a company that wasn't just in the United States. It was a worldwide company that really created a smile for everybody, which means that everybody smiles, that smiles are just as important as profits. And not very many corporations have that mentality. Typically profits overtake the smiles of all of the stakeholders. A lot of times it's just the stakeholders that we can see that we care about. But to me, it's about all the ones that you can't see, right? Because those are the ones that really get touched and have the ability to grow. So Smile Company right now, we have two different nonprofits that we are launching. One of them is Jane Shared Housing Foundation, and the other one is the Academy of Construction Trade School. And they will work in unison to not only provide housing for many different segments of individuals in our society, but they will also serve as ways to teach these different segments of society life skills and work skills, and give them an opportunity to hone those skills in an environment that is safe, moral, inclusive, linguistic, and experiential, which is something special in itself.
George, that is really cool. And it's fascinating to see how giving back has really fueled your career up to this point. Now, I'm curious, as we move into the present day, I want to know how you've continued this innovative spirit of giving back. In our introduction, I mentioned that you've been instrumental in integrating some cutting edge technologies into asset management and project execution. I was hoping you could share some examples of recent projects where you've utilized AI or other technological innovations in your companies.
Sure, absolutely. So, one of the clients that I do work for is a school district. I do different kinds of construction for different school districts, and as I have been honing my own AI skills and taking classes and that, I was sharing with one of the superintendents different ways that I was using AI to augment my own intelligence and to get answers that I didn't have from multiple sources, right? And through talking about that, they were talking about an issue that they had, and I said, let me just pop this into Chat GPT and with this prompt and see if you like this answer. And so I did it with one question, and she looked at it and she said, "Oh my gosh!" She said, "This is amazing. Can we do a couple more?" And so we did a couple more, and then about a week later, that school district in 2 days was able to rewrite all of their protocols around just about everything concerning the school in 2 days. And they were able to do it with the help of all of their staff. And they literally took them and separated them into rooms, into groups, and gave them different tasks and had them all write prompts into Chat GPT and then come back together and create the protocols together, using their own intelligence, their soft intelligence, and using AI together. But that's she expected that to take 2 weeks or more with multiple staff members, and it took 2 days, and everybody was happy and everybody was on board. And that is some powerful, powerful tools.
Absolutely. It's incredible to see you giving back to your local educational communities. I am curious if we can bridge a little bit into the real estate and construction side of things. The practical application of AI in your work has been impressive through the schools, but I'm looking beyond what you're doing in the education system. How do you see AI impacting the real estate and construction industries in the near future?
It has already been impacting it tremendously. I used to have to take a land offering and read through it. And I literally don't have to do that anymore. I can scan it into my computer and my AI bot will read through it and it will tell me a buy or don't buy in about 15 seconds. Now, it may or may not be right, but at least it gives me a cursory overlook before I even start, so that if I'm having to prioritize time, then I can take all the yeses and start with them instead of starting with the no's. And if I get done with yeses, then I can go back to no's. So it really helps me streamline and use my critical path strategies in my asset management and in my asset procurement as well.
That is cool to see how you've been currently integrating. I was hoping you could dive a little deeper into some of the specific technologies you've been using to help your career, along with some of the challenges and benefits you've experienced while working with each of these.
Fantastic. So, I've glommed on to a whole bunch of fantastic AI applications. One of them would be 11 Labs. That is a fantastic platform that it takes video of you and it literally clones you and your voice and your thought patterns. So, I could actually, after a little while, I can have it answer the phone for me and it'll be able to answer basic questions in exactly the same way that I answer them. And then if it gets stumped, it'll just say, what, I've got to wait, let me think about that overnight and I'll get back to you. And the bot will give me time to actually answer, find the answer to the question. And, some people would say, well, that's crazy. You could just don't even have to be there. Well, no, you kind of do have to be there. You do, because it could give a wrong answer, right? It could give not a right answer, but here's the benefit. The benefit is all the people that are waiting for me during the day to answer my phone, if 5 people can have the phone answered at the same time and get their short question answered by somebody who is thinking just like me, that's fantastic. Right? Because I hire people all the time that don't think like me and they still have to make those decisions. And so either way, I'm stuck with somebody or something making the decision. And so if I can help my staff in that way, and then they can only problem solve. That is a super fantastic tool. Again, another tool that I can use to mitigate labor time and change labor so that I can provide a better service, not only for my customers, but for my employees, for my, what I call the other stakeholders, right? You know, we have lots of stakeholders in the game, and the idea as we innovate and as we save labor in certain areas, we want to invest it in other areas so that these same people can be used and utilized, and we can create a better service. To me, that's the goal. It isn't staying status quo on the service we offer today. You know, we should be able to offer better and better services with the use of AI.
That is really cool to see just how you've run some practical applications through your outside experimentation. It seems like you've had a fairly smooth journey with integrating AI into your businesses.
Wait, hold on, John.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Tell me about the challenges. Tell me about the challenges.
Let me back up and tell you, man. Okay, so let me just pull the curtain back and say, man, as glorious as all of that sounds, actually integrating all of those things, taking time to do your videos, taking time to do all of those things is very, very difficult. And so, you know, grading my own self, I would grade myself at a C- in integration. And it isn't for lack of effort. You know, it's just, that's the grade, right? And, you know, and I'm compelled to grade that way because I grade my performance on quantity and quality of what I'm getting out. And unfortunately, or fortunately, in business, I'm busy enough that time is of an essence. And so I'm learning that some of my weaknesses are on the technological side, even though I can vision it and I can see it. If my computer has a glitch, it could take me 4 hours to get past the glitch, and somebody else can get past it in 2 seconds. And that might be the only 4 hours I have that week to work on what I'm doing, right? And you can see how that can compound things, and it can draw things out for months. And so I've been late to market a number of times because I have not been able to streamline my operations. Now, AI is changing that. Slowly, it's changing it. One of the good ones that I'm using is Fireflies. It works very, very well. It takes notes during my meetings. It gives me feedback about how often I'm talking during the meetings, about my tone of voice, about the other people's tone of voice in my meetings. So these meetings that we have, they're actually, now I'm learning from the meetings instead of coming out of a meeting and having my own thoughts. They're actually quantified by an artificial intelligent being that's taking notes for me. And that is a powerful, powerful tool for people like myself that are extremely busy. And it isn't for lack of effort or lack of wanting to. We just literally, you only have so many hours in the day. And integrating new technologies is expensive. It's not cheap. It takes time and effort, and it doesn't give back immediately. So thank you for letting me interrupt you. It was so smooth. But I had to, because it's just not a smooth transition. Even when you're passionate and even when you're at the beginning edge of something and the cutting edge of it, it's not smooth.
Well, hey, George, I appreciate you cutting me off because I was trying to set up a next question about some of the challenges with AI, but you've set yourself up to be the expert here. So speaking from experience, with your C-, what advice would you give to other real estate and construction professionals looking to integrate AI into their work? And if you could speak a little bit more about how you run your weeks, just how your scheduling goes and how you really do try and get AI to optimize it as much as possible.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I would say the number one suggestion that I would give is to get a personal assistant to help you integrate AI, whether you hire somebody, whether it's an AI, somebody from abroad or somebody here, somebody in your office, out of your office. Take some of these things off of your plate. And that's easier said than done, but you just have to keep pecking away at it until you can actually get to a point where you can see yourself doing it. Because it's really important to get the stuff integrated into your business. And I say that as I watch some of my peers integrate things faster than me that I knew about before them. And you don't want to be in that spot. That's why I give myself a C-. because I can see my peers, and I've watched a few of them just go by leaps and bounds, and I can see them using the AI in ways that I haven't set up yet. It's not that I don't know how, I haven't taken the time to do it, right? And so to go to time, so I segment my workday or my days into four-hour segments. So 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., 8 a.m. to 12, 12 to 4 p.m., and 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. That gives me four-hour segments of time to get work done. And then 1 4-hour segment of time for personal items, whatever it is that I need to do for that day. So I try to work, and I try to get a day's work in on each of those 4-hour segments. So I work fast, diligently, and take a short break in between and do it again and again and again. With that said, so the morning time is my office time and phone time, and usually my mastermind time and things of that nature. That's when I would be implementing my AI, right? And then mid-morning, 8 to 12 is usually when I'm in the field. And then I try to get back to the office again from 12 to 4. Well, that 12 to 4, there's your variable, right? And it's the same thing when I became a personal trainer. Guys wanted to come work out after work. And I'm like, you know what? It never works that way for very few. For the majority of people, we got to work out at 5 in the morning, or you're not going to get it done. You won't be consistent because too many things come up in the afternoon. You get sick. This guy calls, that thing happens, the other thing happens. And I can say that my days are often a victim of that. With that said, I will say that as I've been going through, I've read a few books this year that I haven't read before. And one of them suggested that I take notes of what I do every 15 minutes for 2 days, at least 2 days, and just see like what actual activities that I do every 15 minutes and see if I'm not wasting some time somewhere. And that is where I recognize that I wasted a tremendous amount of time on technology, on little tiny things that are just out of, simply turning on the computer, and I can't get it to hook up to the internet. And it might take me an hour to get that done. Those little kind of hiccups are a problem, as well as personal disciplines. And so those are the 2 areas that I've been focusing on myself, is personal disciplines, and no Facebook, no Instagram. When I pick up my phone, it's amazing how much time you spend there. Even if it's only a minute or 2 minutes every 15 minutes, that adds up a lot during the day. And so some of those little things I've been trying to, and same with answering emails. So that's another way that AI can really help, and that I've talked to other people about it. And some people have it partly integrated now, and I have it not integrated at all yet. But I'm telling you, that is the biggest time saver in the world, is to have somebody else handle all of your emails. And you really have a choice of either teaching somebody to do it or teaching a bot to do it that will do it like you do it every single time. And so to me, it's easier and more secure to have a bot do it and then check the bot afterwards from my draft box.
Well, George, thank you so much for sharing your experience with integrating AI into your business. I was hoping getting back to just a little bit of a general construction viewpoint. What advice would you give to other business owners looking to succeed in your industry?
In the construction industry?
Or any industry. In the life industry. You seem to be much broader than just the construction industry with your expertise. I'd like to hear about what advice you'd give to any business owners out there about the way they do work.
The best advice I can give from my own experience is that you've got to follow your passion. Do what you are truly passionate about. And I know it's a cliche and people say it all the time, but when I say do what you're passionate about, I really mean specifically, right? And I'll use an analogy, not a construction analogy, but a fitness analogy to get this through so it's very clear. So many times people come to me and they tell me, I want 6-pack abs. I can't even tell you how many times guys come to me and they tell me I want 6-pack abs. And I say, okay, great. You can do that. Here's your life regimen. Here's what you can eat. Here's what you need to do to have that. Is that what you want? Well, no, I love the 6-pack abs, but I don't love that. Okay. So then you don't want 6-pack abs actually, because you love eating out. You love, hey, you only want to work out 2 days a week, et cetera, et cetera. So the actual things you love don't match with your six-pack abs, right? So sorry, don't go and be passionate about getting six-pack abs. You'll make yourself miserable your whole life. Same thing in business, right? If you fantasize about how being a real estate entrepreneur is just so fanciful and fun and exciting and all of that, and it's all about going out to dinner and going on vacation to different exotic locations and things of that nature. Well, that's not, I mean, yeah, all that stuff happens and that's great, but that's not what you're going to be passionate about. That's not the things that you're going to need to be passionate about in order to get the job done. You're going to need to be passionate about underwriting, passionate about problem solving, passionate about all of the things that encompass getting a real estate transaction finished or done, or a construction project, whatever it might be. You have to be passionate about the work, the actual work it's going to take, so that when you're doing that work for zero, you're okay with it because you love the work. Because I guarantee you at some point, you're going to be doing it for zero, even if it's just in your head, right? And an example of that, when I'm done with a construction project, right, I've been paid. Now, you always put in and figure that you're going to have one or two callbacks, right? So there's always some percentage you have in there for errors or callbacks. But every homeowner, every contractor hopes there is no callbacks, and every callback is a free, right? I don't look at it as, I'm getting paid for that because I put it in the budget already. I look at it as a free go back, and we don't want any free go backs, right? Unless we're really passionate about what we do.
Well, absolutely. I'm glad you started off with the fitness analogy and following your passion ended up in a construction analogy. George, it's truly been a pleasure to have you on the show today. One more question for you. What is the best way for people to get in touch with you? Or do you have any offers that people can take advantage of?
Absolutely. The best way to get a hold of me is email me at george@smilecompanyllc.com, or simply give me a phone call at 916-276-0971. That number again is 916-276-0971. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me. And currently I have a 32-acre RV park development that I am taking investors on. And I have a 371-unit apartment complex we're taking investors on. I have a 12-unit townhouse that we have investors on, and many other projects that we are taking investors on at this moment. So if you like real estate investment and you like multiplying your equity and getting a good return on your money, then please give us a call, give us a chance, and see if we can show you something that you might not have seen before.
Sounds like some great offers from George there. George, speaking from a personal note, you've left me truly inspired today. I really do appreciate everything you've shared with our listeners. To our listeners, that'll be a wrap for today's episode of Simple Tech Talk. A big thank you to George Knowlton for sharing his incredible journey from humble beginnings to leading innovative companies like Smile Company and Square Up Construction. George, your insights into the integration of AI in real estate and construction, as well as your dedication to giving back, I've been truly inspired. For our listeners, if you're as fascinated by George's work as we are, be sure to check out Smile Company and Square Up Construction for more on their innovative projects and initiatives. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast platform and stay tuned for more episodes where we explore the cutting edge of technology and its impact on various industries. Thank you all for joining us on Simple Tech Talk. Until next time, keep innovating and stay curious.